Super excited to bring you part 2 of the Tryon Palace episode. Last time we were joined by Jennifer Bertling, and this week we're joined again by her and Ann Griggs. They are going to be giving us a tour of Tryon Palace, and when I tell you guys, it is beautiful right now. Everything is in bloom, everything is super green, the weather is perfect, so we are super excited to take you guys along with us, so let's jump right into it. Hey guys, so we are back today for this episode of ENC Wedding Talk in front of the beautiful Tryon Palace, and I'm with Jennifer Bertling and Ann Griggs. Jennifer, what's the name of your business?
Jennifer Lynn Weddings, Events, and Design.
Awesome. And Ann?
The French Bee Events by Ann Griggs and Krista Tarver.
Perfect. And you ladies are the exclusive wedding planners for Tryon Palace. So if there's a bride coming to get married, she will be working with either you or you and your partner, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
That's awesome. So I think it's really cool. When I say I'm going to work, like obviously, you know, sometimes I get to do cool stuff like this, but when you guys say you're going to work, you get to come to Tryon Palace. That is so sweet to me.
That's right. It really is.
And the gardens have been spectacular the last few weeks too.
They have been.
We've been enjoying it.
I know that's perfect. And I know that there's a lot of brides who this is the time of the year they want to get married because everything is so beautiful right now. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, we're going to take a look at some of the gardens today and show you guys some of the spaces that are available because I think a lot of people, when they think Tryon Palace, it's like Palace, but there's so much more that just the entire organization has to offer. So we're going to take a look at that.
Perfect.
Okay, so we are now on the back side of Stanley House. So can you kind of talk us through this space a little bit, because I'm so obsessed with the fountain and then just the back of the house. Everything is so beautiful here.
So we usually put our guests right out here on the lawn with a aisle right down the middle. They can walk down from the steps or they can walk around the building, which is more common. Mm-hmm. And then the ceremony would be up near the water fountain there.
Awesome. And everything is blooming over here, so I can just imagine like brides love having their guests just look right over, and the garden is amazing.
It is. It's so beautiful, and pretty soon we're going to start seeing the hydrangea.
Awesome.
And what other things going on over here? I forget everything they have in here.
We'll have hydrangea and hellebores.
Hellebores.
All kinds of stuff.
It'll be beautiful.
Very cool. When I was talking with Krista earlier, she was kind of mentioning the bride that you guys have this weekend. It was like secret garden, like tea or garden party. So
exactly.
Perfect for something
yeah,
like that.
so she's so excited to come back here, and just she's only got 60 people for her guest list, so
Sure.
It's going to be really intimate and really sweet.
Oh, that's awesome. So can you kind of like walk me through a bride's day if she were to be getting married at Tryon Palace? Like, what does that day look like?
You start.
Typically, the hair and makeup is done at the studio where they may be doing all of that. On occasion, it might be at a hotel room. And then 2 to 3 hours before, they'll come on property and use one of our historic houses to get dressed, take those photos, and enjoy the time with their bridesmaids and their family as well.
Awesome.
And then when it's ceremony time, they don't have far to go.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's awesome.
And as Ann can probably agree, it's nice to know they're on property.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like to get started on time. I don't know about you.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And as someone who is perpetually late, I can see how that would come in handy for most brides, especially if they're like me. Okay, so can you kind of just explain this whole area, because I know there's just separate places, and it's not all one included thing. So can you walk me through it?
Well, this area is probably the most iconic because you've got this whole background behind your wedding. So this is called the North Lawn. Most weddings are in front of these gates, and we have decorated those turrets and everything, just all kinds of things. And then also, if you want to do your ceremony here, and then have a tent over here, your guests are just, have to walk backwards, and they're at the reception, and everything's kind of in one location, and it really sets up beautifully, really, really pretty beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And then inside the gates, between the gates and the house, is the inner courtyard, which we mainly do for ceremonies and then cocktail receptions.
Okay, so this is incredible. And so why don't you guys just kind of walk me through this, because this is stunning.
This is the Latham Garden, and really probably one of our most popular gardens for ceremonies. It's a maze of flowers and hedges, and we actually put the chairs, the guest chairs, through the maze.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then right behind us is a ceremony location, and they always have seasonal flowers in between all the maze here.
That's beautiful. And then, so how many guests can this area seat?
We can do about 150 through here.
Wow.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. I love that. And so if a bride is kind of looking for like that perfect like garden vibe, I can't imagine anything better than this, honestly. Like, this is so beautiful. So kind of just, we'll get a full shot of the entire thing, but just kind of explain like, if the bride was coming and this is her spot for the ceremony, how does that kind of work? Where's she coming in from, and then where do all these guests go after?
So typically, the bride either comes down this way here through that gate, or we have another gate up this way, and they walk down.
Okay.
And then the guests afterwards, they might go over to the History Center, or we do have a little spot right out here called the Dove Courtyard, and just depending on the size of the guest list, we might end up indoors, outdoors. There's some other options with the south lawn and the north lawn.
And that's what's so cool about Tryon Palace. No matter how many people you have, we have different sites that can fit. Like if you want, a really big indoor venue, we have this History Center or just a small garden, so we can kind of fit everybody.
Absolutely. And so I know with everything still a little crazy because of COVID, so how are you guys kind of, accommodating smaller weddings and still making it special for brides, even though they're kind of, having to change up the way they were planning on doing stuff?
I think a small wedding can be so phenomenal and intimate. A bride has a chance to really enjoy your guests and speak to all of them.
Absolutely.
And you get to really pull in your closest people that are really close to you, because it's such a special day. And I think it can be just as special. And you can make it as beautiful or more beautiful. Just because of the size doesn't mean it can't be absolutely stunning.
That's right. Since we're kind of touching on more intimate ceremonies, are you guys doing anything special for brides right now if they do decide to go that route?
One thing I have found is some brides want beautiful ceremony, and they want a small-ish reception where they can cut a cake and make a toast, but not a big dance and all that. And so what we've been doing for several of our clients is having a garden wedding, and then using something like our Dovecote Courtyard as a little after gathering place where you can do that, cut the cake and have a toast, and keep it kind of short, and but it actually is just beautiful, and your guests all central located, and it's just wonderful.
For sure. And if a bride is interested in any of the packages that we talked about today, they can get in contact with either one of you. And this is another question I did have. So when someone is inquiring about a Tryon Palace wedding, do they go through Tryon Palace to get in contact with you ladies?
Yes.
Or they can just reach out on their own?
Either way.
What's the website info?
It's the tryonpalace.com or .org, tryonpalace.org, and there's a wedding section on the website. And just fill out the inquiry, and then it'll come right to us, and we'll take care of you.
Right. And actually, that's a great thing, because just so you'll know, if you do go to that website and contact us, what happens is you'll get a brochure with all this information, and probably more than you probably need. And then once we give you a chance to kind of get that and read it and go through, we'll just follow up with a phone call just to see if you have any questions or anything like that. And we try to do all that, within the week. The brochure goes out immediately, but we want to give people a little bit of time to read it before we call them.
Awesome. Okay, so we are actually on the back side of the palace now. So can you guys kind of talk us through the space and what goes on back here?
Well, this is called the South Lawn. If we've done really large parties back here, last year, right before COVID, we did a wedding for 700 back here with a glass building tent. It was actually all constructed with heating and air, but it was beautiful. But I mean, the sky's the limit back here. We can do tents. We can do multiple tents. You also have the river view. So it's kind of whatever your mind can create, we can do back here.
Yeah, this is really the blank space back here. And of course you have the outdoor. We always encourage some sort of tent, just as our backup plan, because that's something we always consider. We can't do 400 people anywhere else other than the south lawn.
So what are some creative things that brides have done back here? Because the space is so massive, and then the river view is gorgeous. So.
Well, we did one where we did the ceremony on the back of the palace, which was beautiful. And then they had a gorgeous sailcloth tent back here, which is, with the peaks, like the circus tents, and then the teak poles coming down. So that was kind of interesting because you went from a very just really conservative look into this massive tent, so that worked out well. And I know you've done a ton back here as well.
Yeah, a ton of tents, all different. Some are lined, some have chandeliers. I mean, it is an endless possibility.
Awesome. So what are some special things that brides can expect or get done on the backside?
There's always, the little details, the little extras that can really make a wedding. We've washed the whole palace in like an amber lighting before. And so the backdrop with this amber glowing palace behind your tent is pretty special. And then they also have the candelabra you were talking about.
Yeah, so we could do candelabras all over the grass out here.
Oh, wow.
So once it's dark, all you see are these little beautiful spots of light all over the grassy
it's like
area.
Fireflies.
Yeah,
everywhere.
like fireflies.
It's beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, something cool too. I feel like, you don't get, there's certain things that are going to come with the experience of getting married here that you're just not going to get. Where else are you going to have a palace like washed in light behind your guests? So, that kind of stuff to me is just so cool, and I think it just really adds that special element.
With all the gardens here and the history, people love history and they love that it's just special. And I know I feel the same way, but many people, they'll tell me, when you come over that bridge, you just look over here.
Oh, absolutely.
And you go, it is so pretty over here. And so I think that's the appeal. And I know for you, Ann, and for myself, we have clients from all over the country.
Wow.
In fact, we have a couple getting married here from Washington State coming up later this next year. So,
well, New Bern is a great place for a wedding venue, especially Tryon Palace, because we're in the center of downtown where you have hotels, you have restaurants, and so you can make a phenomenal weekend for your guests, and they don't ever necessarily have to get in a car.
That's right.
Okay, so we're on the back side of the History Center right now, facing out on the waterfront. Can you guys kind of walk us through the space, how brides can use it, and how it can kind of move with each part of the entire wedding day?
Well, here on the Bait Common, we actually do ceremonies out here, and then the Lower Bait and the River Walk, we'll do cocktail receptions, and then inside the History Center and also up on Bait Commons is a great place for your actual reception. We can tent this area right up here, or you can just have the indoor space, which is great in the summer months when it's so hot outside. You have a short little ceremony out here, and then move on in and have an air-conditioned space for your reception.
Absolutely.
And another option is interesting, like if you want the garden feel, so you can always do your ceremony, at one of the gardens that we've seen, and then come over here and do your inside reception. So you can kind of put a combination of different venues together, and kind of come up with whatever you want to do as far as ceremony, reception, cocktail hour.
That's super cool. I love that brides have, that versatility if they want to do like the really pretty garden, but then also come over here and get some AC.
And heat in the winter as well.
Absolutely. So you guys mentioned the Riverview. So what all is included with that? Because I think that's really awesome.
So the Riverview package, to me, is the best deal going, because you get this, you get Bait Common, and you get the History Center for up to 106 people. And so you get all these different spaces, and it's just a really great package because it just
it's all inclusive. It includes everything from your videography, photography, your cake, your catering, linens, chairs, tables. Wow. I mean, it pretty much includes almost everything. You just bring your dress and your rings and your tux, and you're good to go.
Exactly.
It's $25,000, and it's, like I said, all inclusive. We just have you pick out a few things, what chicken dishes you want, which colors of your linens and your flowers, and we go from there.
Yeah. For someone that doesn't like to make a lot of decisions, that sounds perfect.
It is ideal.
All right, so now we're inside the History Center, and just kind of walk us through how brides can utilize this space, because it is big and it is indoors. So just kind of talk us through what you guys can do in here and how you like to use it.
To me, if you're the type of person that wants a big, fun reception, that you want a band and you want to dance and you want the lighting and everything, this is your space to me, because we have ample opportunity to put up a really big stage. The acoustics in here are amazing for a band, and it's plenty of room to dance.
Yeah.
And we can see
200.
for a seated dinner, and then
Yes.
if you want to do like a more of cocktails,
Yeah, we could do 300 in here. And we could also put a tent outside where we could do dinner inside, and then outside have the band and a bar and some high bistros, and everybody could just hang out there and have a good time.
Awesome. Okay, so when someone is using the History Center, what do they have access to inside of the building for them and their guests?
So mainly this big, large space, and down the hall here, and a little ways down that way. So we utilize that maybe for a buffet or a bar. Go ahead.
yeah, and then you also get your outside areas as well. So yeah, we have a catering kitchen, so your caterer can come and warm things and get them really prepared before they bring them out to your guests. There's in-house bathrooms. Obviously we've got air conditioning, and there's all kinds of. It's such a blank space that you can do so many interesting things in here. I know we've used a lot of draping to kind of soften it a little bit. We've used all kinds of lighting, and so you really can do a lot of creative things in here.
Anne's done some fabulous floral chandeliers in here. She can get up on that lift.
I'm the only one that gets up on the lift. I had some guys to go up, and they went halfway up and said they couldn't do it, so they had to come back down. I had to do it.
Oh my gosh. So what are some of the ways you guys have really transformed this space?
You go first. Well, obviously, I always say linens cover a lot of square footage with color, and you do your florals. In here, doing highs and lows are terrific. And Anne's shaking her head because, she's a designer florist by trade. And I'll let you talk a little more about that, too.
One thing you do want to consider in here is that it is a big space, and you've got a tremendous ceiling, and so you do want to take advantage of your space and try to close it in a bit. So a lot of times we'll use floral chandeliers to drop the ceiling a bit. We'll use high items, containers on the tables, so it makes it feel a little bit more intimate and cozy. That's why I mentioned the draping. A lot of times we'll drape this whole wall and then have like the head table with uplighting and have it, so you have kind of a beautiful backdrop for pictures. And then, a lot of times we'll put the cake in the middle or, whatever. But my favorite thing is to hear what the bride wants. Because that's what we want to do. My biggest thing, my partner always laughs at me, is I said, I'm already married, and she's already married, and Jennifer's already married. So we've all done it our way. So I really get into listening to what the bride wants, and then turn it into something that they really are going to love. Yeah.
All right, so we're at one more location today. We are in front of the Commission House, right across the street from Tryon Palace. Ladies, tell me how a bride can utilize the Commission House specifically.
You go first.
So, well, this is a great location because it has an outside venue and an inside venue. It has the beautiful garden in the back, holds about 50 people, and then inside we can have the reception. And there's a couple large rooms in there, and a place for the buffet in one room, and then dinner in another, and then cake cutting in even another room, and maybe a first dance or two.
Awesome.
And then we also have our boutique package there, which is just like our Riverview package. It's all inclusive, cake, catering, linens, flower package, the videography, photography, the whole works. And it's for 24 people, and it is $6,500. Includes wedding coordination service as well.
That's amazing. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Anne.
Thank you.
It was
We
amazing
appreciate you having
you on.
us. This
Absolutely.
was fun.
Yeah, right? Beautiful day to do it, too.
Yes.
If you would like to get in contact with either of these ladies, make sure you head over to the Tryon Palace website. I'll pop it right down here. But yeah, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.